That 180 days, remember that.
So someone just spoke those words to you. Which person spoke the words to you? That's all I'm asking.
By law, even if found guilty, if all of the complaints and allegations are sustained, the officer will face nothing.
I don't understand why you're being so evasive. You are evasive. I'm asking you who told you that?
Back at the Orange City Police Department in Florida again with some stuff you're definitely going to want to hear. In the last video, we came here seeking an update on a current internal investigation against one of their officers, Shadrach King, which they have 180 days to complete, and you saw how that went. If not, check out the playlist. Today, I'm back seeking some information that they can give to me. If they will or not, I don't know, but they can. And this is vital information, and some of you are going to be completely shocked. What we're going to do in this video, I'm sure many people have never heard of.
Hello. Hey. Favorite person in the whole wide world. Especially Hilton. Hilton loves when I come in, I think. How are you, Hilton?
How are you?
All right, can't complain. Another day in paradise. Hey, I just wanted to, I should have got this the other day. I just wanted to get the date of the last activity on IA 23-17. Or 16. No, I forget. 16.
Let me go see. I was just over there by their doors. Their doors were shut.
Okay. Just the date of the last activity, that's all I need. Well, depending on what that date is.
As we know, as has been demonstrated in several videos, I am usually blown off and given generic information. Nobody's available. Try calling, try emailing. So when I do get the response that nobody's available, obviously I don't know what to believe. There could genuinely be nobody available at that moment, or it could be crying wolf again. I don't know. But the main point of this video is going to be that 180 days. Remember that. Details of it are going to shock some of you. And I can't help but wonder if the results of this investigation will just end up making the entire situation worse.
So
Who should I call for? Which one should I call for that? Like, just I don't know if it has to be the person in charge to just look and say, I don't know if anybody can access it and just say, okay, this is the date, or if it has to be a specific person.
Your best bet would probably be Terrio.
I think I have it, but I'll grab it.
Okay.
Is he in, do you know, or is he back?
Yeah, he's in. They're in a meeting, so.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I'm over here, knock. I can see him and I can hear him. I'm like, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, the only reason I asked is because we're at like day 142. And as you know, the 180 days doesn't mean they have 180 days to finish the investigation. They can take 1,000 days. But if not completed within the 180 days, no disciplinary action can be taken.
Right.
And then there would be no repercussion against the department for not doing it on 180 days or the accused officer. You know, so I just want to due diligence. But anyway, hey, and one just general basic question. Is Shadrach King still employed here? Okay, just haven't seen him in a while, so I figured that would just be a direct way to answer that. All right, I appreciate it. Take care.
Hi, you have reached the voicemail of Detective Scott Terry with the Orange City Police Department. I'm unavailable to take your call right now. If you would please leave your name, number, and a brief message, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. You've reached the desk of Detective Deadly. I'm not currently in the office right now. If you leave a message after the beep, I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
So I tried calling the investigation sergeant and the investigator that had been assigned to the investigation, and I didn't expect that the calls would be answered, and I did try a few times throughout the day. But again, I have no way to know if I'm being avoided or there's generally nobody available if they're busy at the moment. No idea. So I have sent an email.
What's up? I'm back again. Hello. I'm still trying to find, I came in yesterday and I called and emailed, but I haven't had any luck yet. I just really need to get the date of the last activity on IA 23-16. That's all, no information or anything, just the date of the last activity on it. Last activity, last action, whatever. I made some calls and emails, but I haven't had luck yet. I just need to try to get that as soon as I can.
So they said it's something they don't keep track of.
They said it's something they don't keep track of? So there wouldn't be a way for them to see. That's something they have to keep track of, though. Because if it reaches a certain amount of days, like if it goes inactive for 45 days, it becomes public record. It's now public. So that's something they kind of have to keep record of.
Well, that's what they said.
Who told you that?
It's the detective in the office.
Which one, Dagley, or
All of them.
they all said that together at the same time? I don't know why. How come you don't want to tell me who? Someone just spoke those words to you. Which person spoke the words to you? That's all I'm asking.
Well, it's the person I guess involved in whatever you're asking.
I don't understand why you're being so evasive. You are evasive. I'm asking you who told you that?
That's what I was said. That's what I was told.
I know that's what you were told, but by who? Who told you?
Sergeant Terry.
Well, how hard was that? The sergeant told you that. Why didn't you want to tell me that?
Didn't want to.
You just didn't want to? What? You're often evasive like this, and I don't understand why.
No. But that's what they said. So, anything else?
Well, I mean, it's still the same thing. I have to figure that out somehow. That's something that has to be kept track of. This is why I hate when they won't come speak themselves and they throw a middleman, or a middle woman or whatever, because now we've reached an impasse because you don't have the information, right? And if you did, I'd have to beat it out of you anyway. For some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, so they have to keep track of that.
Oh, that's what I was told. So, if you want to email them about it,
I did. I emailed. I called. But everybody avoids me here. You know that. You would avoid me. You wouldn't be talking to me right now if you weren't damned to this office right now. You don't want to be here talking to me. But that's what I'm dealing with. So, and I'm trying to find, when I come in here doing things, I'm doing legitimate things that I'm genuinely trying to work on. So when I'm being avoided, it kind of makes it more difficult. And we got to get an answer to that question. So he's in the office right now. Is he in the middle of a meeting?
I don't know.
Well, when you just went in, did he look like he was in the middle of a meeting?
We all were talking, so it could be.
Could be a meeting. All right, we'll see. We'll see if he answers the phone.
I don't know which one you're picking up, but
This is the one you said you just told you that, right? Reluctantly. Yeah. All right, I'll see if he answers the phone. Back again. You just warned somebody I was right there? I don't know. It just looked like you were warning somebody that I was here. I don't know. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I just need to I need to do a public record request then, if that's how they're gonna. A copy of IA 23-016. Unless they can show that it's been active within the last 45 days from this date. Yeah, so how it works, if once an internal investigation goes inactive for a duration of 45 days, it becomes public record. So I have to assume that it's been inactive because I had the same, I've been told the same thing for a couple of months. So unless they can show that there has been some activity within 45 days, I mean, they can show some sort of redacted something if they want. But yeah, if it's been inactive within 45 days, it's now public record. So I like to get a copy of it. Or they can show that it has been active. You know what I mean? If there's been activity within the last 45 days, they can show that, and it can be fully redacted and everything like that. If they just want to show, hey, yeah, look, it has been active. Otherwise, they'll see under Florida statutes that it's public record after 45 days. Even though it's still considered active. Yeah, okay, whoever, it's going to ultimately go to them. So, all right, that's it. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to walk over to the back of the department, and I'm going to narrate over the original audio because there was so much background noise that came out terribly. And we'll check out the backside of the department and some of their vehicles while we go over this. And who knows, maybe someone else will show up or pop out and say hello. So in these previous videos, with this entire story that began in November of 2023, you've heard 180 days mentioned several times. I've said it, members of this department have said it, and they've reminded me, like Investigator Dagley did in one of the videos, reminded me that they have 180 days to complete the report. She would tell me this if I, went in or called seeking any sort of update, because I've never been contacted, like we discussed in the other video. So when it said that they have 180 days to complete the internal investigation, and look at that, there's King's old vehicle right there, number 23. And oddly, right next to former Officer Kyle's vehicle, number 25. The two that together started it all and initially got my attention. How about that? Anyway, when you hear that 180 days to complete the report referred to and mentioned, it is very misleading, because technically a department does not have 180 days. They basically have unlimited days. So in about half of the states in the United States, they have something called the Officer's Bill of Rights. And Florida happens to be one of those states. In Florida, it is the Police Officers and Correctional Officers Bill of Rights. Florida Statute 122.532. If I read this whole thing to you, this would be a super long video, but it is very interesting. I'll provide you links in the description and in a pinned comment for those of you who want to hear all about it. But I'll sum up a few things that it does. Firstly, it affords an officer far more rights than it affords you as a citizen. It outlines things like if an officer has been accused of something and they need to be interviewed, it must be at a reasonable and convenient time, and preferably while they're already at work, so they don't have to be bothered in their personal time. Let's compare that to the citizens' rights. So that's what happens if a citizen accuses an officer of something. But when the police accuse a citizen of something, they're coming to get you. Doesn't matter what time of day it is or night, doesn't matter what you're doing, they will come and pull you off of the toilet. The citizens do not get such princess treatment like the officers seem to get with their Bill of Rights. Also, before they're interviewed or questioned, they must be provided with everything, all of the evidence against them, all of the witness names, statements, reports, any audio or video recordings, even GPS location data where applicable, and they get to go over and review every detail. And then, hey, when you get around to it, if you feel like talking to us, let us know. Obviously, a citizen doesn't get those luxuries. But here's the most damning luxury. Here's where we get to the 180 days. And this is what the 180 days actually refers to. In this case, we are currently in day 142 of 180. That means there are, as of the making of this video, 38 days remaining. But a department can take as long as they want. They don't have to do it in that time frame. So let's say, like me and a few others with this particular officer, let's say you are the victim of some sort of wrongdoing by a police officer. You go in, you make your complaint, you make it known. They have to immediately notify that officer that the complaint's been made and they're going to be investigated. And the clock starts the date that you make that complaint. That is day 1 of 180 days. And it is true. the investigation must be completed within the 180 days in order for the officer to be disciplined. That means if the investigation takes even just 181 days, by law, even if found guilty, if all of the complaints and allegations are sustained, the officer will face nothing. No disciplinary action, no consequences, nothing. No suspension, no demotion, no termination. Promotion is still possible, but absolutely no punishment of any sort may be handed down for anything related to the complaint that you made, even if by the time the department closes the investigation and finishes it, they say, yes, these things are sustained, this officer did do these things. However, shoot darn it, we were just so backed up and so busy, it took us 182 days or 500 days or whatever they claim. But now surely the department is going to be in trouble, right? They didn't finish it within those 180 days, so a state agency is probably going to have to investigate that department and figure out why. Was this intentional? Did they drag it out on purpose? They're going to have to answer to somebody as to why they didn't complete it within those 180 days. Most of investigations, they don't take nearly that long, or even nearly as long as this one has taken so far. But all of what I just said, no, nothing. There's no consequence. No state agency, no other agency will investigate the department. They will not be questioned by anybody but the citizens as to why they dragged their feet or didn't complete it in a timely manner within the 180 days where action could be taken. Nothing. So if it is dragged out for any reason, and they would claim, hey, they're just busy, it just took a long time, of course, no agency is going to come out and say, yeah, we dragged it out, so we didn't have to do anything. Nothing happens, no consequence to the officer or to the department. Now, I'm not suggesting that's what's happening in this case. I'm not suggesting this department would do that. What I'm saying, though, is it does happen, has happened, will happen, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. You could file a civil suit and get a settlement that you'll pay for yourself with the rest of we the people. So to clarify, even if the officer is found guilty, sustained all of the claims against him or her, they just continue on like nothing happened, regardless of what they may have done. Some people might say, oh, come on, why would an agency do that? Most of you watching this won't say that because a lot of people know or are learning how these things work, what that blue line stands for. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. But let's say an agency is very, very short-handed. They're already running a skeleton crew. Let's say cops have been fired. They've suddenly randomly quit. Some have been arrested. They're so short-handed, they're pulling investigators out of investigations to go work in a marked police car to work the road. Maybe they've got a couple under different investigations at the same time. They just can't afford to lose anybody else because they're in a tough spot. That could be motivation for a department to do that. And I will add that everything I just described is the exact position that this department happens to be in right now. Again, I'm not saying this is what they're going to do. I'm saying I hope it's not what they're going to do. I have found it odd that something so seemingly simple is taking so long. I'm very familiar with these types of investigations and how they work. And, I'll remind you again that this was pretty clear cut. We gathered all of the evidence ourselves and provided it to them. So they basically just had to verify it. And the evidence is overwhelming. And I'm also not the only victim. There's a few of us. So how would an agency explain that away in some twisted tale of justification to try to make up a valid reason that an officer might have done these things? There's just nothing that they could say that the general public would believe and hold any level of respect for the agency for claiming. So it's either do that or own it. Say, hey, yep, that was wrong, and hey, this is what has to happen. And that's something, unfortunately, we also often just don't see in law enforcement. Accountability is demanded by police to the people, but when the people bring accountability to the police, you're treated like an enemy. So there are a couple things that we can do, not to prevent this, but to discourage this from happening. Stay tuned, we'll get into stuff. But it has seemed odd to me that this is taking so long, and I've been trying to make it make sense. Stay tuned, check out the playlist and the others for this story and more, and definitely share your thoughts on what you learned here today. Do you think that it's fair that these rights afforded to police officers are so much more luxurious than that of the citizens? Do you think it's just that a department that fails to make that 180-day mark faces no consequences, meaning the officer accused also faces no consequence? Very interested to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah.